Welcome to the Bjerkreim Bulletin. I'm your host, Paul Squires, thankfully now free from the man flu that was affecting my voice last week. And each show will be bringing you all the latest news and info on Bjerkreim's rebuilding in 2016 to get the club back to where it belongs in Norwegian football. Welcome to episode 5, and in tonight's show, as the Bjerkreim players and staff are enjoying a well-earned bye week and have had no games since last week's show, we'll be looking at something a little bit different. We'll be giving you a behind-the-scenes look at Bjerkreim's training methods and routines. And to do this, who better to discuss this with than the Bjerkreim manager, Paul Wandless. Hi, Paul.
Hello, thank you for having me along again.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
Okay, so Bjerkreim don't play a game this week, but that doesn't stop the hard work you and the players have put out on the training ground, does it, Paul?
It doesn't. No, we've had one session last night and we're going to have another session tomorrow night.
Okay, so Bjerkreim aren't a professional team, so all the coaching staff and players have a regular job like the rest of us and have to fit in training around this. So I'm sure it can limit the preparation time that you'd like to have with a team before a game.
It definitely does get in the way, and obviously we'd all love to be doing this full time and training every single day. We've got the hard time at the minute where a lot of our players are also in higher education, so they also studying for exams, which have been last week and this week, so a lot of players have been missing for recent sessions and matches. We've obviously took a blow in recent games as well due to this, and next Monday's match is a prime example of work getting in the way. I'm actually due to be working until the exact minute the game's due to kick off, so I've had to find someone to change shift with.
So it just goes to show that even the manager's not excluded from these problems.
No, I had to speak to my boss.
Ask him nicely.
At my other job, get some time off.
Ask him nicely then. Okay, so the team usually trains 2 evenings a week. How long would you say each session it normally aims to be?
They're about 1.5 hours long each session.
Okay, so a total of 3 hours a week, and then the game, of a Monday or Tuesday. How many staff support you with each session?
It's normally just myself and Roger sometimes, but again, due to work, Roger's quite often missing at the minute. So quite often it'll be just myself, and like last night we had Roger with us, with myself helping obviously organise the players, which is nice.
Brilliant. Okay, and the training ground that you well obviously train on, it's a 4G pitch, so the weather doesn't affect things too much when you do get together.
No, the pitch is perfect. Even in torrential rain, which we had over the winter a couple of times, I was playing on the pitch. It doesn't slope. It's perfect. There's no problems with the weather.
Brilliant. Okay, so Bjerkreim's budget for training equipment like balls, cones, even like the rope ladders for the legwork, that's clearly be significant smaller from teams that we see each week on the TV. Do you feel it's a massive issue, or do you think that a lot of the equipment that they have is probably just a bit fancy, expensive equipment and not worth the money?
I think equipment's always nice, isn't it? We can't go throw money around to buy new equipment all the time. That's pretty obvious. I don't think any club wants to just throw money left, right and centre.
Sure.
But I think the more equipment you have, the more you might end up using. You might only use it 1 or 2 times. I mean, normally we end up using the cones are out all the time, the bibs are out to obviously separate teams. And we use things like long poles, which we have for the players to either run round or imitate a defender, for example. So you have the players...
Not used for hitting them or anything like that for when they're not playing well.
It's sometimes, but I can't deny or confirm that. I'm sure one of the players might step up and answer that for you.
Okay, so when it comes to the actual training itself, what kind of warm-ups do you get the players to do, and how long do you spend on that?
Warm-up's about 10 minutes. It's pretty simple, to be honest. It's across the pitch, doing your dynamic stretches before you get going, getting across the pitch with your knees and your feet, and working sides, and just getting the legs moving, getting the blood flowing before we get them working hard. And then the final warm up is with the ball, and it's the old simple one of getting the circle with one man in the middle.
Sure.
And just pass it on. That's the final part of the warm up after they've done about 10 minutes on dynamic stretching.
Okay, and so training itself, what do you find is the focus? Is it more time with ball at your feet? Is it set pieces? Is it mini games? What kind of exercise do you feel you get the most value out of in that short space of time you have with the players?
I'm starting to think you're a bit of a scout for the opposition next week. Um, what we'll do is we'll go back a week and we'll discuss what we did in that session, because I don't really want to be discussing what I'm doing this week too much. But the main thing we've been working on a lot is the ball control, because as I've said before in previous podcasts, we here to play football. I don't like get the ball from the defender and kick it up to the striker. I like to work the ball up. I like to make sure we dominate in possession. The first few weeks at the club was all about structure. I spent many sessions focusing solely on the defender's side of things, about shoring up the team in terms of structure from the back going forward, and we slowly worked our way up. The players all know the roles, the back four, making sure they stay in line, the person in front, making sure he's always available, the midfield again, making sure when you look across the line you can see the whole midfield. All about structure. And then after that, we've focused a lot on ball control and ball play. It's all about getting the ball, passing it short, quick passing, and just working hard. At the end of the day, I want to see everybody leaving the pitch knowing they gave 100%.
Brilliant. Of course. Okay, so then we'll come away from the actual exercises themselves, not to give the opposition any hints and tips or anything. So outside of training, what do you ask of the players outside this, or what are your expectations in terms of the diet, the running, looking after themselves, even things like no sex the night before a game, which is normally discussed within football? Do you feel that you've got a fairly professional group of players, and can you trust them to keep the work going between your training sessions?
I've never asked one of them if they had sex last night before on the match day, but just for you, I'll do that before Monday's game. In terms of what I ask during the week, you can actually, if you go on to bjerkreimfotball.com, on the A-lag section on the left hand side, which is the men's team, if you go on the calendar, you'll see a calendar which I put together, and it has our training days on, but also it has Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday are set as athletic training, basically to go out and do some exercise, go for a run, go to the pitch and just run around the pitch a few times. Just keep yourself fit. It's just about keeping your legs moving and making sure you're fit for the following week.
Brilliant. So you might not actually be physically spending the time as a group, but the guys know, and they have that structure for their own training outside of it. Brilliant.
Yeah, Thursday to Sunday, it's all individual work. It's all just keep yourself fit, and fitness is definitely improving week by week.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that with the performances, as you say, each week and each game. So if you want to see more on the team's trainings, you can go over to the club's Facebook page. There's actually a couple of videos on there from when Paul has done live streaming of some training sessions. Actually, you did one last night. How do you feel that went?
It was okay. It wasn't the best session, if I'm going to be honest with you, in terms of the final part. The drills we worked on, I did see some nice things. So that part of it I'm happy with, but at the end we did a little 7v7 match, and it could have been better, I'm not going to lie to you. And I think the players know that, which I think that's the best thing about it. It's not about, well, it is about what I think, but it's it's all about when the players leave the pitch. I want them to leave and know that they are happy with what they've done tonight.
Sure.
And if they leave the pitch knowing that they could have done more, then that's what I want. And they did leave knowing that they could have put more into that 7v7 game. The passing could have been quicker. We need to be drilling the ball into each other even during a practice match, because at the end of the day you haven't got time to stroke the ball with each other in a match.
Sure, and those training sessions are, few and far between, so there's little time to correct exactly. Issues or anything like that. Okay, and there may be a chance that there may be another little live stream tomorrow's training session.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Again, it's going to be the match at the end, because again, I don't want to be live streaming the drills that we're doing, especially with the match coming up.
Sure.
There will be some drills recorded, or live streamed, one of the two. I can guarantee that, but not when we coming up to an important match, which is a must-win game.
Entirely understandable, definitely, entirely understandable. Okay, and obviously, whether you can do it tomorrow night or not, there will be more of those live streams coming soon. So keep an eye out on social media. Okay, so up next we've got Vaganez. We host them in Vicasor on Monday night. Is there anything specific you wanted to concentrate on training? As I say, without giving too much away, because the guys had a lot of confidence from last week's game, so there was maintaining that as well.
the main thing we're going to look at is putting the ball in the back of the net. It's an important part of the game now. No, we're playing good football. We're definitely passing the ball better each week. As the weeks go on, we're looking better and better and better. And I do think that we stand to put a really good starting 11 and a bench together when the players are available. So I am looking forward to the game. We are going to be working, as I say, on just that final third, just getting that last pass, that last finish, just making sure we can capitalise on the chances we get in the game and make sure we put them to the sword.
Brilliant. Okay, not wanting to put you on the spot or anything, but obviously with 3 draws from our 3 home games, do you feel that this one is the one that could get us our first win of the season?
I do. I think we've had 3 tough away games, top 3 teams in the league. Vagners are currently sitting in 4th place, but we are a good side and we have played better than the results show. And as you know, we've obviously drew all 3 of our games at home in the league this season. So we're unbeaten, which is something to take. It's a positive to take into this. Then when you take into account that we are now fit, we are now playing a lot better football. We have now developed as a team. The starting 11 for myself as well as the players is coming together, because the first 3 games and onwards, I've still been deciding in my head the best position for certain players. So I think we're getting to that point now where we are ready to put them 3 points on the board. And I think this is going to be the game.
Okay, fantastic. All right, you've just mentioned then about when we have the whole squad available, and it takes us nicely over to the next section. So this break that we've had this week will have given you a chance to have a good look at our injured players and assess any kind of possible return date. So I just wanted to run through a list of those players on the treatment table and basically how their recovery is going, Paul. So first up is Roger Bratterber, who injured his knee and is out for the season, but he has offered to support you with his role of assistant manager.
Yeah, I think Roger's finished, not just for the season. He's going to love me saying that. I think Roger. We spoke actually on Monday, because he was talking about how he thinks it's not going to be long before he can join in training a little bit, just and help out a bit more in terms of movement.
Cool.
But he does talk about the fact that he thinks playing wise, he's probably done now. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, that is sad to hear. You know, when you speak to him, pass on our condolences as such. That is a shame, but maybe that's a case of long term. There's more of being the assistant manager role. Okay,
I think he just likes spending time with me on the side.
I'm sure he does. Okay, so next up, club captain Morten Solberg. He was injured in our 3rd game of the season. How's his injury coming along?
Morten is fit now and he is going to be
Brilliant.
back in the match squad on Monday. I'm hoping, as long as nothing happens before then. Obviously, with these type of injuries, on the back of the legs down towards the knee, it was really unsure what the injury was, to be honest with you, Paul. It was one of the ones where he went off as if it was the knee, and then since then it's been more of a muscle injury.
Right, okay.
I am hoping he's going to be back in the match squad Monday. He has declared himself fit, but he also declared himself fit about 10 minutes after the injury, so it's always best to check this.
That's more of his attitude and his determination to put the team first.
He's a warrior. He's an absolute warrior at the back. I said it in the first match and I'll say it all the way through. He's an absolute warrior when he's on the pitch.
Brilliant. Well, make sure you wrap him up in cotton wool for the rest of the week. Make sure he can get out on Monday then for us.
I will do.
Okay, next up, Stefan Sletterberg is out for the season. That was his knee, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. There's no new news on that, unfortunately. It's one of these injuries which it can flare up at any time. And again, it's like Roger. There's the possibility he might not be able to play competitive again. There's a possibility he could come back in a few months and have no issue. So it's just a waiting game at the minute, unfortunately.
Okay, well, fingers crossed on there as well. And you yourself, you've made a brief substitute appearance lately. How's the recovery from your ankle injury going? And can we expect some more longer playing time soon?
No, I think I'm finished, Paul. My ankle flares up far too quickly and far too painfully for me to consider it. The only time you'll see me walking on the pitch is when we very, very short of players.
Right,
so
okay.
hopefully never.
So that is a bit of a sad news, apart from Morton on the whole of the injury front. Is there any other players carrying any niggles or injuries issues?
I know All has been suffering a bit with shin splints. It's been something he's had for a few weeks now, but he's powering through it. He also damaged his toe as well. A David Hay type situation. Blame the toe. But he's powering through, luckily for it, as our playmaker in the centre midfield. So, also Vida as well at the back. He came in with a little tight hamstring before the last match, but he played through it with a couple of grimaces. But I think he's fine now. There's been no further news of that, so I'm assuming he's getting through training okay.
All right, brilliant. Okay, anyone else, or do you think that's it?
No, I think we're fighting fit apart from them.
Fantastic, that's what we like to hear. Okay, so on to the league results and table. So as there is an odd number of teams in our division this season, as I said earlier, it's our turn this week for a bye week, so all the other teams are actually in action. Shock result of the weekend was our next opponents, Wageners. They beat top of the table, Moster 2-0 away. The other three games, Freuland 2 versus Tonstad, Undheim versus Lai, and Riska 2 versus Helleland, are all actually playing as we speak now on Tuesday evening, so we can't bring you any scores there. So before those three games, the table shows that at the top we have Riska 2 on 15 points from 6, Moster on 13 from 6, and then in third it's Undheim on 10 from 5 games. At the opposite end of the table, sadly, it's still ourselves at the bottom in 9th with 3 points from 6, then Lai and Tonstad just above us with both with 4 points from 5. Let's hope that with those two involved in action tonight, they don't have a chance to widen that gap from us. If you haven't already done so, head over to the English section of the Bjerkreim website to read this month's issue of our club magazine. Obviously, the club's new website is available in both English and Norwegian, and you can find it at www.bjerkreimfotball.com. That's football with one O. Next week sees the launch of the second issue of the Bjerkreim monthly magazine, so make sure you keep watching all the club's Facebook and Twitter pages for the links to a bigger and better second edition of the club magazine, which is going to be released at the end of each and every month. And we've actually got some great news tonight to end the podcast with this week. We've received national recognition for the Bjerkreim Bulletin, having been featured on the P3.no Higher Football podcast from NRK. In a segment towards the end of Friday's episode, they discuss our podcast and the club and have great joy in trying to pronounce Paul's surname. They went on to play a short clip from our fair show, and here's a clip of what they had to say.
Vi har fått en innsigelse på vår Facebook.
Ja, veldig bra.
P3 Fotball, det funker bra det altså. Det fra Livar.
Hei Livar!
Hei, siden dere har fokus på lokalfotballen og prøvd å skape engasjement rundt det, synes jeg at dere bør ta en titt på hva den nye treneren fra laget mitt fra hjembygda mi, Bjerkreim IL Fotball, finner på. Bjerkreim IL da en 6. divisjonsklubb i Rogaland, ledes av nevnte Paul Wandless.
Hæ?
Ja, han fra...
Paul what?
Wandless. Altså tryllestavløs.
Han har ikke tryllestav?
Ja. Men han har tydeligvis det likevel, for han får til masse greier med Bjerkreim her. Ikke bare spillergrupper, men også på sosiale medier. Facebook, Twitter og så videre.
This is a tremendous honour for the club to be gaining national recognition like this from such a well-liked and listened to podcast, Paul.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Definitely something to be proud of. The fact that people are randomly noticing us, which is just superb.
Yeah, it just goes to show how far-reaching, I guess, the social media is pushing the club now, and who knows what else is to come in the future. So congratulations for all those concerned on their work and everyone at the club. Okay, so that's all for tonight, guys. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget you can now catch this podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud or iTunes, so you can listen to us whether you're sat at home with a cuppa or out walking the dog. Just search for Bjerkreim Bulletin. Thanks again for joining us on the show, Paul.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, thanks for listening and see you next time. Ha det bra.